Hi Flosstube, my name is Callie and welcome back to my channel, Callie Creates. Today is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, and this is episode 2. I am very excited to be back. I wasn't sure when I was going to come back. I thought maybe every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, but I was just so excited to share everything that I want to show today. And I am honestly so surprised, I guess is the word I could say, with the all the comments, all the subscribers that have subscribed to my channel. I started my Flosstube with no expectations really. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do, throw up a video, see what happens, and wow, you guys have been amazing. I've enjoyed getting to respond to all the different comments and getting to read where you're from, how long you've been stitching. So it's been really fun. So today's video is gonna be packed. I mean, I have like 6 pages of notes here. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So I'll have a quick life update, a finish parade, my state fair plans, the progress on my birthday start, and just, I wanted to show off a few fun things that I found. So it's not quite a haul, but I still wanted to show them to you anyway. So let me start off with my life update. So the past 2 weeks, I have been working on my outdoor space here in my apartment, which is a balcony. It's partly shaded, so I thought maybe I could get some over the railing planter boxes and take advantage of the sun that does come into the balcony space. And I was able to start planter boxes of lettuce, kale, and herbs. And it's been really fun to get to make the outdoor space cozy. So I've added, let's see, for instance, like an outdoor rug. I even made and put together a potting bench to hold all my gardening supplies. And since I've planted them, I'm able to harvest my first salad, which was delicious. It was wonderful. And I even made some biscuits using my herbs that I grew. They were basil cream biscuits, super delicious. And so that kind of leads into my next thing. I will be competing this Saturday, April 22nd, in a pie baking competition. Pie baking is something that I love to do, and if there's a competition, I will usually try and find a way to compete in it. So this specifically is called the Texas Pie Fest. It's in Rockwall, Texas, and I have competed the past 2 years, and it's been really fun. It's definitely, if you are obsessed with pie, love pie, anything like that, this festival is for you. They have a pie baking, a pie throwing, and even a pie eating competition. There are all kinds of vendors there selling different wares, as well as other pie baking businesses. They'll have their pies for sale, and there's live music. So I would love to see you there. I mean, if you're in the area, come out and see me. I'll be doing 2 different pies. I'll be doing a sweet one, which will be a strawberry balsamic thyme, and a savory pie, which is going to be a sweet potato curry, and it's going to be in a cheddar cheese crust. So once again, if you're out in the area, I would love to see you. So now moving on, I'm going to show off my finishes, some of which are fully finished and some need to be finished. And some of them I just have pictures of because I gave them away as gifts. So the first one is going to be called, or is called, T is for Turkey, and it's by Heartstring Samplery. I love how this piece turned out, and I used all the called for colors, which is Classic Colorworks floss. I'm not sure the name of the linen. I do know it's 32 count, and it was a relatively quick finish. I mean, honestly, I wish I wrote down all the information for it, but that was right before I started, documenting everything for each piece. But I do want to show the frame I got. It's, sorry if I'm on the table. It's by Signed and Numbered on Etsy, and I know that Lindy Stitches uses these for her Bird Crush Club, and that's where I first saw it, and I thought this would be perfect for my T is for Turkey. So in fact, this is actually a custom size that I had done, that I had ordered from them, and they are really easy to work with. If you have any frames or anything that needs to be framed that's sort of like a weird size. The next piece I'm going to show is a custom piece as well. So yeah, that's my first one, T is for Turkey. My next one is called Vintage Needlework by Dear Suki Crafts. Let's see if I can get this here. I love how this one turned out. Once again, I mean, I love every single piece I've done. And this is, I have my notes here on the back. This is right after I started documenting everything. This was started on January 8th, and then it was completed on January 11th. And this is on a Zweigart Lugana even weave in 25 count in the color black. Let's see if I could get closer here without too much reflection. And this one, I was honestly surprised at how easy it was, in the sense of, since it's on black fabric, I thought, oh, this is gonna be really hard to see. I'm gonna get a larger count so I can, or a smaller count with larger holes, so I can, how do you say that anyway? Is it, even though the number's smaller, is it a larger? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I ended up doing my own color conversion on this. If you're interested, just let me know, and I can scrounge up the details on that. The called for floss ended up being a little more dull than what the photo showed. So I had fun getting to pick out my colors to look closer to the photo. So yes, this is a custom size by Signed and Numbered, and it's really fun. I love it. My next piece that I did is Needlework by Kathy Barrick. It is a piece without glass, so I can get a little bit closer so you can see. This was on Fox and Rabbit Eucalyptus in 32 count. I started this on February 9th and finished it 10 days later on February 19th. And I used the called for needlepoint silk. This is the first piece I've done in silk, and I thought it was really fun. And initially, when I had purchased this pattern, I was going to do it exactly as it showed. The pattern is stitched on sort of a mottled white, creamy white fabric, and I had purchased something that was really close to the photo, but once I started stitching on it, I just wasn't feeling it. So I already had this piece in my stash, the eucalyptus fabric, and it was just perfect. When I saw it, I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. And since I stitched this 2/2, I ended up needing to get an extra skein of black and the color ochre to be able to finish it off. But yeah, this is the piece, Needlework by Kathy Barrick. Next up is probably my biggest piece that I've finished. I got inspired by Carrie of Tiger Lily Designs. This was her birthday start, and this is Miss Mary Morgan. I know quite a few people have been stitching this lately, and it's been really fun to see everyone's choices of fabric, if they're gonna stitch the whole thing, if they have changed any of the verse. So for the most part, I did follow the pattern. I did use Carrie's conversion or chart change for her words, and also I liked the color choices she made for the symbol or the trees at the bottom, and so I followed hers. The other changes I made was the pattern has you stitch, so I could point it out right up here, and on the other side of it some purple parrots. I just wasn't a fan of those, so I left them off, and I replaced the dogs with let's see if I can show this, with 2 cats. I stitched those in honor of, there's a cat that lives here in this apartment complex. I don't know who she belongs to, but she's a white cat with some orange spots, and my husband and I have nicknamed her Butterscotch. She doesn't have a collar. I don't know her real name, but that's what we call her. So to commemorate our time here in this apartment complex, I had to stitch up Miss Butterscotch. And also at the top, I put my initials and the date I completed it. Also in the Tiger Lily changes that she did, she charted out the, let's see what letter it was, the I and the Y. I thought about stitching the chart as is, but it was just really going to bother me if I had those 2 letters missing. I'm trying to think. Oh, funny thing about the border. So I had started at the top and then came down this side went across the bottom, and as I was starting to go up the other side, I was like, why is this not matching? I mean, I stitched the, you know, this side exactly as the chart called for, so I don't understand why I'm having problems. Well, I did some investigating, and I was actually off by 2 stitches, and so I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't really notice it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Trying to blend it in on the other side. And funny thing is, when I went and I figured out where the border was going to meet, it happened to be the exact same spot on the other side where I had done the mess up. So in fact, it's symmetrical now. So I thought that was pretty cool that my mistake ended up almost being intentional. I don't know if you could call it that, but I thought it was pretty fun. So Mary Morgan is stitched on 28 count platinum China white cashel linen, and I used all the called for DMC colors. I have decided after stitching the whole thing on 28 count that it's really not my favorite count of fabric to work with. I've done the T is for Turkey and the vintage needlepoint on, or needlework, not needlepoint. T is for Turkey and then the needlework by Kathy Barrick. They're on 32 count, and I really like that. That's my new favorite count so far. So now the ones that I don't have with me but I have pictures of is Black Canyon of the Gunnison, and it's by Unique Stitch Crafts on Etsy. I stitched it on a 28 count even weave, and I used the called for DMC floss, and the whole thing finished out to about 9 by 12. And so I ordered a custom frame from Etsy. Once again, it's my favorite place to get frames. And I love how the organic wood really complements the design. And I have a photo here of it on her gallery wall. And I just think it looks so good. I'm very proud of it. And that was my first full coverage piece. And I love it. Turned out great. My next piece that I did was called Two Prim Cats by Teresa Kogut. And this was for a friend of mine who has 2 black cats and named Zorro and Toothless, and I put their initials at the bottom to represent them. I used all the called for linen and floss. I don't know what count it is, but I did order exactly what was on the pattern. And I got a frame from Hobby Lobby, and she was thrilled. She loved it. In fact, whenever I go over to her house, I see it up on her wall, which makes me so happy. And then the last piece that I did that I don't have with me is called Songbird Sampler by Artful Offerings, and this was for my mom, and it was her Christmas gift. I ended up just giving her a picture, or I showed her the pattern. I'm like, look, this is gonna be your Christmas gift. I don't have it stitched up yet, but I will very soon. So I showed her the pattern at Christmas, and I had it finished about mid-February. I don't have the exact date, but I do know it was in February when I finished it. I used the called for fabric, which I know is by Seraphim. I think it was antique lace, and that was on a 32 count as well. And I did use all the called for floss, which I think was Classic Colorworks as well. The changes I made on it were, there was an alphabet, and I changed that to a scripture, which she loves. And I also did some adjustments on the border, only because I messed up a little bit and I wasn't going to frog any of it, so I just made it work. And I got the frame from, once again, Signed and Numbered on Etsy. And and then the last piece, which kind of leads into my next subject, is my very first piece that I cross-stitched and that I finished. It is this little guy here, and I think the frame is really fun. I got this one from Hobby Lobby. So this is a green wheat field with cypress by Van Gogh, and this was on a 28 count fabric, and I stitched it on June 26th and I finished it July 4th. This piece, fun fact, I did enter in the state fair last year and I got second place in its category, which I was so surprised. With my first cross stitch piece, I wasn't entirely sure how well it was going to do, kind of what their standards of judging were, but to say I was shocked was an accurate description. So yeah, it's all DMC floss. I just used exactly what was called for. And so the next thing I want to talk about is my state fair plans. Now, if you haven't entered in the state fair before, well, especially here in Texas, there are all kinds of different categories that you can enter. And there are 3, I guess, not really categories, sections. So the 3 sections I want to enter this year are called Holiday Corner, Needlework and Sewing, and then Needlepoint, Crewel, and Cross Stitch. So the first one, Holiday Corner, is so you have all these different holidays and their decorations. So you can enter anything that relates to a certain holiday, and you have a maximum of 6 entries that you can do. So the 6 categories, and I want to do all 6 to make it worth my time. So the first one I want to do is Thanksgiving, and I want to enter my T is for Turkey piece. I think that would be really fun to do. The second category is a Christmas ornament. Now, I haven't decided exactly what kind of ornament I want to do, whether it be cross stitch or some other creative craft that I want to do. The third one is in the hoop embroidery, and that one is specifically Christmas only. There is a design I found on Etsy of ski slopes, and it's really, I think it's a fun take on like winter and Christmas. And I'll be doing that, it'll be finished out in the hoop, and there'll be a wooden block that I'll stick the hoop into as a display, so it's not just hanging on the wall. The fourth category will be a Valentine's Day, and I actually have the pattern right here. It is Sealed with Love, and this is a punch needle, and I have it all kitted up. And in fact, I actually found the lace here on the edge. It's a vintage lace, and I decided just to look on Etsy, see if there's anything similar, and within the first page of me looking it up, I found the exact one. So I have the fabric, all my floss, which is going to be Weeks Dye Works, and I will be framing it in, once again, signed and numbered frame. They have one that has a typewriter font, and you can have it say anything you want basically. So I'm thinking either saying Sealed with Love or some sort of Valentine's Day appropriate saying. The fifth one will be an Easter, and I saw the design by the artsy housewife called the Delia Bunny. I've seen several Flosstubers stitch it up, and I think it would be really, really cute. It's something I thought maybe I could do a pillow finish, or I saw Kim Goldman from the Contented Needleworker Kim. She finished it in a clock, and I thought that might be a fun one as well. I haven't totally decided. I mean, I haven't even started it yet, so I definitely have time to think about how I want to finish it. And the last one, number 6, is an Independence Day. And with all of these categories, I try to pick something that isn't just something that would work, you know, I try to find items that I would personally love to decorate with. Now, I don't have a lot of holiday decorations, which is kind of the main reason why I want to enter all 6, is so that I can kind of bolster my holiday decorations. So like I said, number 6 is Independence Day, and I want to do an embroidered bunting. And the designs I found were by Hudson Holidays on Etsy, and I am thinking about doing a quilt block inspired bunting. I don't know if I want to do the triangle or the kind that almost looks like a snipped ribbon to where it's squared off and then it comes up like this at the bottom. Not entirely sure yet, but those should stitch up pretty quickly, and so I should be able to have some progress soon to show you. I don't know if it'll be next video on any of these, but at least I wanted to share what I have planned. And so the next section is called the Needlework and Sewing, and that includes knitting, crocheting, handwork, and I haven't totally decided what I want to do yet. I have up to 6 entries that I can do, and I have patterns and I have some yarn set aside. It's just I have to decide what I want to do. There's a lot of patterns that I love, so it's just a matter of figuring out what I want to do. And then finally, the section I want to enter in is the needlepoint, crewel, and counted cross stitch. There's a maximum of 6 entries, 1 per category, And the first one I want to do is the vintage needle point, which I showed earlier. And it would fit within the category of picture that's not over 117 square inches, which equals about a 9x13, and it's up to 13 stitches per inch. And so since mine is a 25 count, it comes in at that 13 stitches per inch. Now I'm thinking about, for my second one, doing the needle work by Kathy Barrick. I'm not entirely sure I want to enter this, just because if you were to look at this with a magnifying glass, look at it really close, there are some stitches that I would say aren't perfect. So I'm not sure I want to enter it, but then again, I may if I don't have anything else completed by then. And so that leaves me 4 to 5 other entries to be filled. I have, upcoming projects this year that I could enter, so to be determined. We'll see. And so also, it's not just pictures within this section that you can enter. They have categories for other sizes and counts of pictures you want to enter, as well as Christmas stockings, a pillow finish, and an article or a finish that's not a pillow. So now that I have shown all of these, I can move on to my birthday start and the progress, which I am thrilled. I'm so excited to show you. I have been stitching on this monogamously. That's why I would say this is my only whip that I have that I want to show right now. The ones from last time are, there hasn't been any progress on it. So if you weren't here last time, I'm doing Elizabeth Squirrel, and I'm doing it on 32 count Decrepit by Number 12 Stitch Company. And I'm stitching it in Cosmo Floss with my own conversion. And let's see if I can do this here. So this is how far I've gotten. I love it. That's why I've been stitching on it monogamously. The colors are so fun. I've outlined the flower just because once I had stitched, I think it was somewhere at the bottom here, and I got off by a couple stitches. So I thought, okay, let me stop. Let me just outline the whole thing. And that way I know I'm within the boundaries of the flower and it won't throw anything else off as I continue on. But yeah, I love how it turned out. Now, everything except the sort of a limey green and sort of the olivey green next to it, and then the sort of tan pink color in here, those are DMC colors. I had gotten the conversion, or I followed a chart for converting DMC to Cosmo, and those colors just did not translate well. In fact, I started stitching it and I was like, wait a minute, this is not right. So as of now, those are the only ones that are not Cosmo. And let's see what else. Oh, also, I have stitched with white thread before, white floss, and I just wasn't happy with how my stitches looked. I hear that's kind of a common thing on other videos that I've seen, but I have to say, using Cosmo white floss is definitely like perfect. I mean, I wasn't trying too hard to make my stitches even, and it was great. I mean, I highly recommend it if you're struggling with white stitching that's giving you trouble. Just try Cosmo Floss, see what you think. And when I was watching Pfeiffer's latest video, Stitch With Her video, she mentioned a stitching technique that I would like to share with you. It may be common knowledge, but as a new stitcher, it was brand new to me. I was having issues when stitching with two threads, that my stitches would get twisted and my floss would get twisted, and I was like constantly having to like unwind it or let the needle unwind itself. And so she mentioned how she pulls the floss from back to front with the eye first. So instead of doing this motion, she's doing this up and down motion, which has made a huge difference for me in my stitching. It's so much more even, and in fact, I even stitch faster with it. So if twisting stitches is causing you problems, try that technique and see if that works for you. So now moving on to the fun things I want to share. I am part of a Patreon of an artist and printmaker called Addie Best. This is her card here. And you can find her on Instagram. I, of course, follow her. I support her on Patreon, and she does have occasional shop updates. And during her last shop update, she had this design that I was like, okay, I have to have it. It's gonna be perfect to make into a project bag. And so this is what she made, a sampler. It just checks so many boxes of what I love. Hand carved lino block print, you know, linen fabric, samplers. And so I want to do some sort of project bag that maybe have like a quilted star on it, and then this would be the center design, or I'm not exactly sure what I want to do yet. And then also from the same shop update, she had a pair of scissors, which I thought, again, very fun, very cute. So I'll probably do the same thing. I'll have a project bag with that in the center. So once again, her name's Addie Best. She's a printmaker and all the way from Maine, and her Instagram is really fun, getting to see what she's up to and all of that. And then I recently placed an order with Sajou from France, and I ordered some fabrics to make some project bags. So I guess you could say project bags are in my future. So I ordered 4 different kinds. So it's these 4. I think this print here is really fun. It's of all these, I guess, French, well, not I guess, I know they're French, like a vintage French print. And I thought that these 2 fabrics would look really cute together. I've been saying cute a lot. I mean, I do love everything I do, but I thought these 2 would be a perfect pair to go together. And I'm not sure what these will be for, but I don't know, we'll see. And then I also ordered from them some twill tape for finishing. I have some, let's see if I can show this here, some scissors and a plaid. They're wide enough that they almost feel like ribbons. They're really, really high quality. They feel so soft. So I'm not sure what I want to do yet with those, but I couldn't leave them behind. I had to add them to my cart. And then lastly, I ordered some of their needles. Now, I think the smallest size they have is a 25. So it's a little bit big for the projects I'm working on now, but I do have some projects that it would definitely work for. But this is what they are inside. It's got a variety pack. And this is just so fun. I am a sucker for packaging, and this one definitely got me. So to wrap up today's episode, I wanted to talk about a few things. Oh, I can't forget. So on a video I saw recently from the Antique Needleworkers, Liz had mentioned she showed a vintage tablecloth that she got, and it reminded me of one that I got recently. This one is, let's see if I can show this. This one is cross-stitched with designs of Artemis, the Olympian goddess of, what was it? I have it written down here. Hunting, wild animals, children, and birth. And so I just thought these designs were so fun. I did some research, and I'm pretty sure this is from the 1930s. So we have a woman there with a bow and arrow. And then if I open this up here, you can see the cypress trees. Whoa, hold on. The cypress trees and the really pretty border around the center there. So I've considered charting some of these designs, especially like the deer and the tree. And so if that's something you're interested in, let me know and I could just chart it and stitch it up. And so lastly, I want to talk about a couple Flosstubers that I've been watching lately. So I had mentioned earlier Contented Needleworker Kim. I've enjoyed her latest video showing her different finishes, and the Bedelia bunny in the clock finish was really fun to see. I was watching, of course, Liz and Shelley from the Antique Needleworkers. And then I was watching Lindy Stitch's latest video, and she showed a garden sampler by Carriage House Samplings, and her choice to use variegated floss for the vines I think was perfect. It just really complements the piece, and I'm excited to see the whole thing when she's done. And then finally, I was watching the So-and-so's latest video, and they showed a Dutch tomato penkeep, and the finish was, I love the finish. It had the little tomato top with velveteen, and it makes me want to go and order one of those for myself. So with all that, thank you for sticking around if you've made it this far. I would love it if you would comment and subscribe so that you can be here for my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.